Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the 406 Budcast. We're very excited to have you all here today with Nature's Palliative, as well as our classic crew. We've got Adam, of course, Nate on my right here, Tanaki on the left. Behind the desk, we do have the full production crew today, Hannah and Michelle. Hey, ladies, how's it going? And we are extremely excited to have Nature's Palliative joining us today. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us out.
Yeah.
All right, hit that introduction, huh?
On kind of vibes under the big sky. 406 Budcast gonna get you high. Adam and Tanaki and Nate bringing the heat, no time to wait. From the mountains to the plains, we're fucking up, break your chains. Every topic, every strain in this cannabis domain. 406 Budcast, let's celebrate. Rolling up, it's time to celebrate. Adam and Tanaki and Nate and Montana, we dominate. From the soul of the pillars, we're on the map. Lighting up the scene, ain't no cap. Hip-hop beats in the background as we drop knowledge profound. From CBD to THC, we're breaking down the chemistry in this podcast symphony. Come join our THC family.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As Daniel said just before that quick introduction, we have Nature's Palliative here. Rob and Andrea McCoy, the owners and operators of that operation. You're down in Hamilton, right?
Yes, we are.
Right on Highway 93 out there. So
Yeah,
if you're looking for some good stuff down there in the Bitterroot Valley, swing by Nature's Palliative. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Yes, thanks for the invite.
I can already tell you that we had a little test sample of some of your products earlier, and fantastic terps on all of your stuff, guys. It was so yummy. And so many people in the industry fail to hit that dry and cure just right, and you smoke it and it's harsh, but not have that problem with your guys' product at all. It was very yummy.
Not a granddaddy perp. I didn't want to give that back.
Yeah, for sure.
That,
Good thing
that
you
had
brought a few of
perfect,
those.
a perfect like herbal sweet aroma that just transferred. And
I mean, if you have Granddaddy Perp was one of those classic flavors. If you've ever had it in the past, you know what it should taste like. Your guys taste like Granddaddy
It
Perp.
was done right.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you. We actually, there was a grower's cup, one of the first ones that were ever, I think, officially put on or sub-officially put on 2011. And we entered that one late.
Mhm.
Somebody had smoked one of our joints and says, "You got to get this guy in here." And a friend of ours got us in. We entered that, and we actually won the cup on that.
Yeah.
Dang.
So it was a pretty neat event.
That's awesome. And was that on the Granddaddy Perp strain?
Yeah, it was.
Same cut by chance?
Yes.
well
Wow.
deserved.
Yep.
Well
Yep.
deserved.
Wow.
Yep.
Dang. So that's some ancient genes in and of itself almost.
Yeah, that strain's been in the Bitterroot since it was Kyle McCready that brought it in, and that would have been 09, 10,
Dang.
right about that time, and he got it out of LA.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's probably a good classic strong cut then. Yeah.
14 to 15 years of propagation. That's some good work. You know, most people can't keep a house plant alive.
Yeah. Let alone a short-lived plant that you have to freaking, clone over and over again. So that is a testament to your guys' process for sure.
Yeah, we try to take really good care of our mothers. Obviously, at times they just get to be too much, and you have to rotate through.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to do that. We've been looking at trying to maybe doing some deep tissue culture.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Bringing things back in that way, and just seeing if that helps out with anything. So
Cleaning up the genomes a little bit better. And
yeah. We've changed things through the industry through the years. Everything from lighting to nutrients and so forth. And more recently, I think I've noticed a little bit, just kind of like, it's been a long time. I wonder if it's just kind of getting a little stagnant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Kind of just clean it up.
yeah.
that's an awesome science that's just, popped up recently. I know they've done it in the botanical world for quite a while, but in cannabis, getting any training or transfer to the cannabis world has been a little bit slow, but I see a lot more people turning to the deep tissue culture for preserving genetics and what they call cleaning them up.
Yeah.
Being able to wash some of the bad stuff or the staleness, like you were saying, off of them.
Yeah. Because, even though you do your best, sometimes you just make mistakes, or you have people that come in that are learning to grow or say they're growers. and they'll come in and just, they'll mishandle, and, or light schedules will mess up and things like that. So you just get stressed out plants. And with stressed plants, you don't always get the best cuts off of that. Kind of figured that if you could regenerate any of that and bring them back to what they were to begin with, probably you have just a lot less problems. I'm not saying that there've been a lot. It's just,
15 years is a very long time. I mean, I think you're just things are going to happen. Anyone who's run a garden understands that.
Yeah, that is the oldest genetic we have in the house.
Yeah.
Other ones that we've fed ourselves, we've run about 4 or 5 years, and it's just stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Two
talks.
talks,
Yeah,
What a good boy.
yeah.
Like you could bring your dogs to hang out with
It's
me.
snuggle time right now, guys. All right, Two Socks is checking in early. Say hello, everyone.
to hang out.
While we've got that going, Han, do you want to switch over to the comments? We've got just a natural segue here. Hey, Travis, it looks like Irene, Tiffany, nobody again, classic. We got Mr. Burns hitting the chat earlier. Always a classic. Debbie, it's nice to see you again. Thanks for stopping by. SMB Still Shots, good evening. Morgan, dang, we got all the people out here this evening. What
Mr.
is
Burns
up,
said
everyone?
release the house.
So Trav Pal's my brother.
Oh, right on. Cool. Hey, what's up, brother?
Tiffany is our employee.
Hey, cool.
Tim.
Yeah.
Tiffany, thanks for holding down the shop so Rob and Andrea could sneak away and get over here and do this.
Absolutely.
She's a champ. Travis is out the south quite a bit too. There's Jeanette, that's my sister-in-law.
Cool. Hi, Jeanette. Jared, it's nice to see you too.
Look at this. Okay.
Oh yeah,
That's a great crowd.
great crowd coming in here, guys.
Going to be some great stoner trivia later.
Oh,
Now
absolutely.
my heart's beating. My family's
It was all fun and games until the family started watching.
Do I still look high?
Some things never change, huh? Yeah. That's good stuff.
The third joint was supposed to release like the tension. It was like 3 was too many. We went from calm and relaxed to worried.
So we talked a bunch about your guys' Granddaddy Perp. What other strains do you guys have going on there? What's your pride and joy, if you will, besides the GDP, obviously?
We have one that's a Paul's Purple Medicine. A friend of ours who was living in Michigan, out of Lansing and so forth. We met him at a Megadeth concert back in, I think it was 10 or 11, something like that. Long story. Either way, he had given me some seeds and so forth. He had come out here and he had passed away that night that he had showed up here. He had a heart attack. And so, yeah, that's some of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he had given me the seeds, I wrote down initials and whatnot. And he told me, write down the name because you're going to forget. And of course, I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to be arguing it to an Irish. And then I forgot. So we had named it Paul's Purple Medicine and Ode to Paul. And it's not a big yielder. It's a very sensitive plant. It doesn't like a lot of water. It doesn't like over a bit of light. It doesn't like a lot of nutrients. It's just one of these plants that's just a pain in the butt. Like it doesn't like to go like anything else in the room, right? So you pretty much got to just set the room up for it.
Yeah.
And but it grows some choice. I mean, I think our highest yield percentage on that for THC has been 26 or 28, something like that.
Nice.
And we've had it as low. I mean, it has a variable. We've had a low right about 20.
Yeah.
It averages
That's
right
still
about
a great
26.
strain, though. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Those are the numbers that hit me, that 24 to 26, the mid 20s. The super high strains, either you get super anxious or you just get so lethargic. It's like, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah. I'm not even sure, really. I don't know. The 30% plus strains I've never been that impressed by any of them, to be honest with you.
Like we've experienced several times again, and we were talking about over dinner. There's some 19% high terp stuff out there that'll knock you on the couch
Shoot
all
some
day
14.
long. I mean, you can smoke some 33, 34% stuff, and you're just like, all right, well, I mean, and we refer to the dabs often that way. That's been 2-color remediated as rice cakes, but I mean, that's also the same thing with some of the weed. It's just like
0%
it's really high.
terps, 33% THC doesn't really do a lot for
Right.
me. It's just kind of lame,
Yeah, exactly. Right.
for sure.
It's kind of how I feel with the diamond too. Like, yeah, you get a lot of THC, but it's a very empty kind of dab. Like if it doesn't have a good terp sauce with it to really direct you, it's very short lived and empty. It's almost like the microwave dinner of dab.
Yeah.
Like Diamonds came out, it was the fancy, expensive
The ultralight
thing, but then
cigarette.
It was like, yeah, there you go, the ultralight cigarette. That's perfect.
It was like a car without a driver, you know. You can upgrade the car to a Ferrari. Still no driver. It's not going to do anything for you. You know what I mean?
Sit in the driveway.
Right.
Great
We've
paperweight.
had a lot of talks like that about the THC values and stuff like that. And when you're talking the differences of 3-6% from, you know, is that really going to be that effective?
Right.
It really
True.
shouldn't when you're thinking about the minimal of the distances between mid 20s to mid 30s, right? 10%.
Right.
So it's definitely a terpene profile that I have found that has been the best. We've had a lot of people come in and said, you know, we've had GDP at this store or at that store, but you know, yours doesn't seem to test the same, but it also the terpenes are just nice. It's, you know, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
smell it.
I can tell you right now that I've got a great terp high going on for sure.
Good.
Like we smoke a lot of weed and terps hit different. We do. I mean, it is what it is, guys.
Lots and lots of weed and lots of dabs for sure.
You know, I don't know. Oops, guilty. Smoke a lot of weed.
We got Hank out
Right.
there. Irene, what's up, sister?
Hey, Irene,
Sometimes,
yeah.
you know, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, you said it just hits different, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So great job, guys. Fantastic.
So, I mean, what is your favorite, I guess, method of growing? I mean, how do you guys prefer to grow? I know there's a million different ways people do hydroponic. Do you guys like the soil or do you like the hydro? Like, what's your favorite preferred method of growing?
Soil.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm old school. I like soil.
Yeah.
I don't even mind giving it up. I use old school Fox Farm, Ocean Forest.
Yeah.
I get a great deal out of Summer Sun, Missoula, Montana.
Nice.
Just
Yeah,
plug in real
Summer
quick. Steve's
Sun.
great. So we get a great deal down there. We do use some earthworm castings added to that, and then from that point, we do very little nutrient. I'm very I'm sensitive to a lot of chemicals, and so if I'm going to be smoking my own stuff, I'm going to be handling the stuff. I don't like a lot of that in there. I don't
Yeah.
like to flood it and then try to rinse it out at the end either. I mean, we still
Right.
do flushes and stuff like that, old school ways, but we'll run our soil and then just give it nice waterings up until the end, and then do some nice flushings and stuff. We run sand over the top of the soil, about 2 inches, to keep any bugs from really
Classic.
transferring.
Yep.
Silica sand.
Yep.
I've even started kind of messing around with using a vacuum, taking a shot back, putting it on a rheostat, turning it way down low, and then just kind of juking it over the top of the plants, and kind of sucking that off. I haven't had any bug infestations, and so it seems like it works, especially if we have gnats around.
Sure.
Because
Okay.
everybody gets gnats. You know,
Yeah.
Montana, you can't say you don't get gnats.
Yeah.
So
Especially in soil.
yeah, especially with
Yes.
soil. So
Yeah.
and we use cloth pots, so that keeps it, the gnats from being able to invade from underneath.
Mm.
Any of the hard pots that we use, we put a little silkscreen like diaper around the bottom of them to keep the gnats from coming in.
Okay.
So it really keeps down any sort of spraying and sulfur burning that would be necessary.
Yeah,
Totally
smart.
preventative medicine.
And
That's good.
Lots of thinning.
Difficulty coming on today, and so now we're back up and running.
We'll sit down.
Glacier. That's a
Well, that's all right.
Glacier, yeah.
Yeah, Glacier. I mean, Missoula. I mean, the whole west side of the state's pretty much gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
am.
I mean,
Yeah.
the east side. I don't know. I mean, it's not beautiful.
It's
on
a
the
rugged
east side.
beauty.
Yeah, it's more rocky, arid desert compared to the like hills,
Yeah.
pines, and all that stuff.
Or you
on the
get out
west
into
side.
the Badland areas. That's pretty nice if you get over towards Miles City into the Badland areas over there. There's some pretty good topography and stuff, but Lewis and Clark Pictorial Caves. I mean, there's just endless things you could do in Montana, and you could probably spend a good few weeks just traveling around, seeing a small portion of the sites you could see. And while you're doing it, hit up all those dispensaries as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're out in western Montana, out in the Bitterroot Valley, and we were out here just driving up to here, and you guys are obviously eastern Montana, and it was so dark, and the sky is just beautiful. Like the moon's not out, so you can see every star in the sky. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, I remember the Bitterroot being this way when I first moved there,
Mhm.
and it's just not like that. And so you guys have that, like the stars in the sky are just they're everywhere.
Out here. Yeah. You can actually get the Northern Lights out here too.
Oh man.
So how much Yellowstone do you guys have to deal with over there in Hamilton, being how they're shooting down there near you guys?
It's not as bad as it was. I think the whole thing's kind of wrapping up or something. We've met Kevin Costner. We met him at Bob Ward's. Andrew, we were looking at some bow equipment. Andrew goes, "Don't turn around," but I think that's Kevin Costner. And so what do? He's taller than I thought he was. And I just said, "Hi." He's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "I'm Rob. This is my wife, Andrea." And he asked her what she did. And he was very polite. And nice guy. Asked about the local area and so forth. And met a couple of the other actors, and they're all super polite. So we've had a couple of them, won't name names, come into our store because the filming was literally from where our old dispensary was at. It was 1,000 yards away from our studios. Yeah. And so we would get a couple actors come in. This was in 2020, 21. So they were still doing the mask thing. And it was just like, we were all kind of like, don't say nothing. Like, treat him like a regular human, but I've seen this guy in so many movies, right? So you get a little starstruck, but at the same point, it was kind of like, they're normal humans.
Yeah.
And they're just chill.
That's cool. We got to go back and watch Yellowstone and just like watch real close and be like, oh, he's stoned.
That's the one.
He got stoned.
That is the one right there. She didn't have pink eye. She was stoned.
That was most of the lawyer actors. Just kidding.
Brings up the judge and he's just over there baked.
Yeah.
All those old farmers.
Man.
You know it.
Oh, yeah.
You just said it's amazing who you meet in a dispensary. It's absolutely true. I mean, I'm constantly shocked by the people that walk through our doors. It's not who you would expect. It's not your 21 to 25-year-old standard college student. It's, for us, at least in our location, it's a lot of old farmers. It's a lot of business people, a lot of business owners. That's like our main clientele.
Right now, a lot of hunters.
Yes, and hunters.
We have we were talking earlier about those people that come in and say, "Give me the strongest, the highest THC you got." Spit in the corner, right?
Yeah.
So when we were still about a year ago, 2 years ago, we had this car pull up, and it was like an old Buick Citation, right? And these three elderly ladies get out, and they're 80s, late 70s, early 80s. They got the schmuck on, like they've just been serving the kids their lunches at the cafeteria.
Nice.
And they walk in. The first lady says, "Listen here, kid, don't mess with me. Give me the strongest indica you got, and I want an ounce of it." And so we do deli style. So I'm like, "Well, here, you want to smell this and this?" And so she gets the GDP. And then the next lady says, "I want an ounce of your strongest sativa." And I looked at these ladies like, "I want to party with you."
Right.
Like, like these ladies, they're not playing around.
Please serve me lunch.
Golden girls.
So we have a
Betty
super
White.
silver lemon haze that's a crowd pleaser as well. And so we showed them. She says, "I'll take that." And then what was the last lady? She says, "I don't care what you get me. I just want it to taste good." And so we just, we like it. So we do deli style, let her smell it. And she says, "I'll take some of that."
It's a trifecta of people, right?
Yeah, it was an awesome thing. It was like just to see the elderly ladies coming in and just being like, "Give me the strongest you got. Don't mess with me."
I ain't got time to mess around.
Right. I gotta go bake some cookies. I gotta get this going.
Got grandkids coming over. Grandma needs some medicine. That's awesome stuff. So, I mean,
Those cookies are gonna be burnt, dude.
What's that?
My God, I said those cookies are gonna get burnt.
Dude, are they going to be the best cookies in the world? Because grandma's just going to be like into that stuff, just folding just like, oh my gosh, just melt in your mouth kind of cookies.
Maybe. I don't know.
She ain't going to remember the recipe, but hey.
I feel like I do my best baking stoned out of my mind.
Baked.
Yep.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to my nephew. He just joined in. He's the Pokemon kid.
Hey,
What's up?
What's up?
what's up, buddy? Thanks for joining us
He was
tonight.
one of my growers. He showed up there not knowing really much about it, wanted to learn the industry, and stuck with us right up until this year kind of came in when things everybody just kind of don't have no money.
Yeah.
And he was doing a great job, man. So it was really nice having the family there, having that type of support too, because when you're just starting out, it was COVID. We're trying to get things going. And so the family joined together. Everybody got their licenses and did that. Came together and helped us basically start our dream back over. So
True family tradition. Yeah, I mean, and so let's get into that a little bit. You guys were obviously in the game originally back in the medical days. Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, what got you into cannabis to begin with, tell our audience what got you here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the short version is I smoked it when I was 12, and I was like, I need to know more about this. And then when somebody said, here's a seed, you can grow it. Actually, I got my butt whooped. There was a seed growing underneath my mom's Buick station wagon seat. And I'm like, what's this? And my mom whoops my ass and she goes, what are you doing with this? I'm like, I don't even know what it is. And she's like, it's a marijuana seed. And I just smoked pot that summer, right? And I was like, you can grow this? You're 12, 13 years old. I'm in Sacramento. And so it was like, that's a plant. You can grow plants. Plants can grow. Biology said we have it. All this starts going off my head. And I'm like, and so I've always had the fascination of wanting to grow. I had uncles that were into it, but I knew they were into it. They didn't talk about it, but I knew they were doing things. And so just curiosity, really. And then I turned 18, got my own place, started just, commando growing. And we had a community called Woodchuck up in Florence, Montana. And it's way up in the mountains. Nobody's ever up there.
Yeah.
And so we just start going up there, learning to do things outdoor, learning to do commando under trees and so forth like that. I quit for a while because kids came around. Mm-hmm. And then trying to buy pot, you're just about ready to get a felony, just trying to buy some, you just want to buy some, go to work. I was pouring concrete. You're paying $400 an ounce. I'm like, this is not going to happen. I can't keep doing this. I can't pour concrete and do this.
Right. So
me and my buddy, Kyle, decided that we were going to start growing some pot. And I didn't exactly tell Andrea what we were doing in the shop. I kind of had this thing. It was like, hey, we bought this house, so the shop's mine. All right. And so we were pouring concrete out of town one time. I'm like, hey, I need you to take care of something for me. And so she's like, yeah, sure. What do you got going on? I'm like, I'm growing a little bit of pot out in the shop. Okay. And so she goes out there, and I was like, okay, I got to cut a bunch of clones because they die. Right. And so I took a bunch of egg crates and I just start filling these eggs full of all these flats. Right. So we got 500-600 clones in there, and they all lived. Oh, I'm in a room smaller than your studio. I got all these clones everywhere, and I'm trying to keep water on them, figuring out what do I do with all this. I only expected half of it to live. And so it was in that transitional period. And so I came back from pouring concrete, and she gave me a very stern look and says, you need to get your card. You need to cut everything down, do whatever's legal underneath your card.
Yeah.
And so we started with that. I got tired of buying it. I bought some off the street, and I lit it, and it just started firecracker red coming off of it.
Yeah.
And it burnt right in my hand. I didn't put no more flame to it. Just kept burning. I'm like, I'm not smoking that.
Just full of absolute chemical.
And so there's people out there using Miracle Grow back in the day. And so it's like, you know what? Okay, there's got to be better ways. And I knew some old hippie guys at Woodchuck, and so they gave me the bat guano and seabird guano type of recipes. Mm-hmm. So started with that. And,
that's real organic, old school stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Earthworm castings. And, it was vermiculite, and you use perlite now. That was kind of the thing we did. Mm-hmm. And so it worked, and those guys, it was always good bud and always tasted good. I found that different bat guanos from where they're from will give you different enhancements on your terps too. So if you get the Spanish bat guano from Mexico, honestly, it really goes well with Kushes. It kind of really enhances that Kush earthy flavor. But if you get the Indonesian bat guano, it gives it more sweeter. So the things like your lemon hazes, your our prince was that the Jack Herrera. We did a Jack Herrera cross. Oh. And so anything that's kind of has that sweeter aroma like that, it goes really well with those types of things.
Okay. So I wonder if it's due to the diet of the bats or something. Obviously.
Yeah. Terp transfers through the poop.
Right. It's a shitty job, but somebody's got it.
Who'd have knew those people doing the coffee beans or something? I guess they were onto something there.
Yeah.
What do you know? Maybe if they're like, oh, the coffee bean that a cat poos out is a specific. What if we start looking into that? What if you do a Spanish cat compared to an Indonesian cat?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do you get a copy that slows you down versus a copy that picks you up?
Well, see, the way you do that is dependent on if you go with a tabby cat or if you go with a Garfield style cat. That'll decide whether you're going to slow down or if you're going to want lasagna or
maybe you want lazy cat. That's the munchies.
Yeah, you might not want to say that word too loud around Two Socks. That is his favorite food.
Oh my goodness. He's knocked out. He's been having a fun couple of days playing with another dog.
Yeah.
Over at the highway
You don't even
87
Wow,
Commerce
Daniel is
Center.
having a
About to
hard
forget
time with
it.
words right now.
Reading words, folks. Reading
Every
words.
time, so Highway 87 and Highway 312 are right next to each other around here, and I constantly mix them up.
You
Just
do.
constantly.
You
I know.
only
I
live off of
actually live on one.
and
of
work
them.
on it
Please
every
don't get it
day.
wrong, but it is what it is.
Don't take directions from Daniel.
No,
He's
I'll
Do
gonna
give you
not.
bust
that.
along.
Nope.
Also, it also
Look it
sucks.
up.
We've had this happen to customers before because our address is 13213 Highway 87 North. There is a 13213 Highway 87 South. It is several hundred miles from here. Yeah, or maybe not quite that far, but it's like 50 miles. From here,
A
so-
good 60 to 70 miles
Yeah.
out of the range. And people will be like, hey, we're almost to your location. We're coming up on Hardin now, and you're just like,
Oh,
you're
no.
nowhere near our location.
I always feel bad for the people that are like calling at 6:45. They're like, "You guys are open till 7, right?" Like, yeah. They're like, "All right, I'm pulling up on 312." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, that's not the right one."
Yeah.
Nope.
Wrong location.
Heartbreak.
So we got
man.
that strain of the week over
Oh,
there we
yeah.
need to kick through, huh?
Yeah, we've got strain of the week as always by popular poll. We put out those polls across Facebook. Everybody that views, follows, whatnot, you guys are always casting those ballots and making your decisions. This week it is going to be Oreos, and we will be jumping into that just after this.
Step into the light, I'm floating high. Oreos got me touching the sky. Chocolate haze about to blow your mind. Melt away your thoughts, unwind. Cookies and cream, it's a pipe dream. Got me cruising on a sweet beam. Nothing but vibes, feeling supreme. Oreos magic like a moonbeam. Take a hit and let it flow. Oreos where the green dreams grow. Feeling good from head to toe. Up in clouds, don't wanna let go.
All right, so Oreos is an indica-dominant hybrid strain renowned for its high THC levels and deeply relaxing effects. Created by crossing cookies and cream with secret weapon, Oreos is celebrated for its potent body high that pairs well with a sense of euphoria. Tanaki, what do you got on those terps there?
Wow, you just like sped.
Hey, what's up, John?
That. Pass it off to me.
I can say Oreos is one of those strains that looks amazing. If that's something that you grow for, if you want super frosty bud,
It was really dark, wasn't it?
yeah, dark buds, but very frosty case.
Mhm.
That's what Oreos looks like. It's a beautiful strain.
So that Oreos is going to be high in caryophyllene, which is known for its anti-inflammatory effects, and a little bit of spiciness in the flavor,
That pepper.
as well as limonene, which is citrusy and uplifting, and myrcene, which enhances sedation with earthy and musky tones.
Gonna put you to sleep with a truffle feel.
It does. Feels like a truck is hitting you.
It's one of those classic chocolatey strains, or at least it comes. Some of its flavors come across as chocolatey. We haven't seen a lot of chocolate strains in the industry lately.
No, I mean, and it seems like we run through a lot of different waves of like the cookies or the meat strains or the chocolate strains, and the cheese strains and the chocolate strains are something I haven't seen a whole lot of lately.
It's been a long time. Maybe it's time to bring them back. Let's bring back the chocolate and cheese. And
You know, I
wine.
think the French would be
Oh,
happy.
man.
A nice charcuterie board.
Yeah,
Mm.
sausage. You got
Going back to that
brownie
trimming
burger.
experience right now, dude.
Oh,
my God.
man, this guy had like the ultimate trimming experience. Like he went to go trim with this gentleman, and they literally had charcuterie boards. And they had
Yeah.
I mean,
Charcuterie boards,
Hot dog
bowls
bars,
of
I
candy. His wife was making
No,
like
Tiffany.
beef stews and stuff like that.
no, Tiffany. She's like, dude, why you holding out, bud?
Nice.
Here.
While we're giving the shout outs, though, I do want to take a minute to give a shout out to Raw Botanic, man. You know, if you're looking to enhance your wellness routines, check out Raw Botanics. You know, their commitment to quality means every product is crafted with care. And they do have some amazing products over on that website at rawbotanic.com. You can use promo code 406 Budcast to save 25% on your orders, guys. Definitely make sure you go over there. These guys have been featured on Time Magazine, Men's Health, Vogue, Rolling Stone. I mean, they're really out there and get some notoriety. So they really got something
And it's not
going
just
on.
your CBD and CBN stuff too. They've got your lion's mane mushroom
Yes.
capsules. They've got all kinds of health supplements. I was checking them out. They're pretty dope.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a really good program out there that you need for your nutrients, supplements, all kinds of things, check out Raw Botanicals and make sure you use that. Was it Budcast?
406 Budcast.
406 Budcast promo code. That'll get you a little bit off, and it'll let them know that we sent you.
25% is nothing to shake a stick at.
Dude, in today's economy, that's a whole lot of money.
Yeah, no kidding. After inflation, that's anyway.
Inflation and shrinkflation.
Right. So we do got some awesome trivia that I'm kind of been thinking about. And
Some
excited
trivia.
for.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited about the trivia
The
today.
tenacious questions with Tanaki.
All right.
Smoking like a rasta, feeling so high. We talk about cannabis and getting fly. Are you smarter than a stoner? Let's find out. Listen up,
B, the
my
plant's
friends.
flavor
I
and
got
aroma
something to
compounds.
shout. Cannabis
C, the plant's
knowledge,
fibers.
let it flow through your mind. Getting blazed, smoking loud, we all unwind. Trivia questions, can you keep up the pace? Let's see if you're sharper in this smoky haze.
Alrighty, and we are back.
All right.
Oh, pull the headphones back
Is
on.
that the right one, Snarky?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
we lost it when we lost our page. So we had to do that.
We're good.
We got our
Should be.
stuff together.
We're clean.
All right.
Are you smarter than a stoner?
Yes, it is the right.
What do you mean? I am a stoner.
Can't be smarter than a stoner if you are a stoner.
Right. I mean,
Create an infinite intelligence.
this seems like a logical loop.
Yeah, it does.
Question number 1. What is photoinhibition in cannabis plants? And what are the main environmental factors that can cause it? A. Photoinhibition is the process where excessive light intensity damages
Savage.
the chlorophyll, reducing the plant's ability to photosynthesize. B. It occurs when cannabis plants are exposed to low levels of light, leading to early flowering. C. It is caused by prolonged exposure to UV light, resulting in increased terpene production but lower yields. Or D. It refers to light exposure preventing the uptake of nitrogen from the soil.
You have to guess on this one.
Yeah, I'm definitely guessing. I mean,
Tanaki is
Here.
crushing us.
That one's for
Dude.
you.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but
I-
it's still a guess technically.
she was taking no prisoners,
No
bro.
clue.
She's just like, hey, by the way.
I'm pretty sure some of these questions
The first
I've been
word
trying
made
to
my
do
eye
for,
twitch.
like,
I don't know what
2
that word
weeks.
is.
Oh, we have to pick one.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, you can each pick one.
Okay.
What do you guys think on the chat?
Number A.
Okay.
What do I got? I got a D,
Calvin.
I'm with you, buddy.
A, B, A.
Calvin.
Calvin, what's up, bud?
B,
Nothing but
B.
question marks. Got a whole lot of A's out there.
It is A.
If it is a possibly another.
Jeremy, how's it going, bud?
idea
Thanks for joining us.
Would be light burn.
Ashley, thanks for
You know
joining
what?
us.
I've actually had this kind of somewhat explained to me because I'm like a GED graduate, right?
Yeah. Sure.
So we switched over to LEDs. I was told that they can actually produce enough light spectrum that would overflood the plant and shutting it down. So you either want to lower the intensity of the light if you're flooding the entire room, or shut your hours of operation down. So instead of being 12, be like 11-13, or even as low as 9,
Yeah.
and so forth. And so we've kind of played with that, and so with the new LEDs, and it'll shut your plants down.
You're gonna
Like,
change. That's
yep.
interesting.
So, I mean, are you finding that a shorter schedule like the 9 or the 10 hour versus the 12 is the better remedy for that, or just dropping your intensity to like 75% versus 100%?
I've gone to 11-13, and then I've dropped down to about 75%, but I flood an entire room too. I just don't kind of have like some over here. The entire room it's canopied. So
Yeah.
I've dropped it down kind of, and I'm toying with it. Some plants like a little more. My sativas seem to like a lot more intense light. Still the short cycle, where like the Pauls and the GDP are fine having even 50% light for like the first 2 weeks, and then slowly intensify it to 70, 75.
Okay.
Seems to be where it really likes it at.
It kind of makes sense if you think about where those genetics came out of, right? So a lot of those indicas are going to come from colder areas where it has longer, less intense light, and then, or vice versa. Yeah. Sativas typically are going to come from those areas where you got, it's hot as shit.
Right?
You know?
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Yep.
Which part of the cannabis plant is primarily responsible for photosynthesis, and how does the efficiency of this process affect cannabinoid production? A, the stem. Higher levels of sunlight increase stem thickness, boosting cannabinoid synthesis. B, the flowers. Trichomes on the flowers absorb sunlight for cannabinoid biosynthesis. C, the leaves. More efficient photosynthesis leads to higher sugar production, fueling increased cannabinoid and terpene synthesis in the buds. Or D, the roots. Root absorption of CO2 impacts photosynthetic efficiency.
Looks like everyone's on the same page on this one.
Yeah. Even out there in the comments.
Across the
I got
board.
lost.
Oh yeah, everybody can see.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like I got lost and I
Adam-
can't see.
Adam-
I like
Read
how they
words,
say
bro.
that,
Read
Bro,
words.
yeah, I got like they just like yeah. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, those ones are a little small. I thought I fixed all the sizes on those.
Oh, it's
other
all good.
questions.
It's all good.
No, it's
Adam-
good. I think I'm just going blind.
Adam's making
honestly.
excuses for
And-
sure.
Nah, the pregame was real, and I was just like, shit.
Now,
And I'm like, she said something, and I thought I recognized that. Well, fuck. Now I'm missing the next question or the next answer. Now I don't know what D was. Like that's what was going through my head as you're reading those, and I was like, shit, she's on D now, and I don't even know what fucking B or C was, and I'm like leaning in,
Overthinking to the
squinting
max.
eye, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna grab an answer.
C is the correct answer.
C is answer. Man, you really did go from one of the hardest questions ever.
You know what's kind of crazy is from my learnings of it, the
job,
roots don't absorb CO2; they actually absorb oxygen, and the leaves are what's absorbing the CO2. So that's why when you overflood the roots and there's no oxygen intake down there. But if you keep a nice aerated area, they'll actually absorb oxygen. So if they absorb CO2, that's actually new to me.
No, the roots. I don't
Yeah.
think that. I think that was just a red herring answer. for
Yeah,
sure.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that was just a trick answer overall.
Remember why I put that in there?
Okay. What is the role of gibberellins in cannabis growth? And how can their levels be manipulated to alter plant morphology?
Gibberellins?
Gibberellin.
Oh.
That is a great question.
Oh, you mean gremlins? Yeah.
The people
What
They,
is it?
they
They
get in the
don't-
stock and
they
stop
don't
that
eat
root
after
production.
midnight?
They're
Right.
there also to scream bright light, bright light.
All right, Tanaka, give us the answers. We all know this is going to be a guess
Oh.
for everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
A. They increase trichome density using growth regulators during the flowering phase, enhancing resin production. They are involved in root development. High gibberellin levels increase lateral root growth. They promote stem elongation and leaf expansion. Applying a gibberellin inhibitor can reduce internodal spacing and encourage bushier growth. Or D, gibberellins are responsible for the plant's nutrient uptake. Decreasing gibberellins leads to more compact root structures.
I'm 100% guessing. D.
Yeah. I'll go A.
I'm going to guess A because I know that there are plant growth regulators that increase trichomes?
I'm just guessing C, because if there's like a gibberellin inhibitor, then
Right.
that means yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about it, but there's an inhibitor for it, so it must be something that would be a negative if they've created an inhibitor.
idea.
That's true. That could be sick
about
as
to
hell. You
find
spray your
So
plants, so you don't have to worry about having to
Huh.
light and they don't stretch too bad.
Everyone around here is guessing A, D. Oh, a B.
What do we got out
I
I
there?
wonder if
D.
gibberellin is anything like bilirubin.
Looks like some C's, maybe B.
Well, the plant's version of a bilirubin.
It is C.
See, all right.
Oh my land.
Yes. My logic is exactly how I guessed my way through grade school. What's up?
To tighten up that internodal distance, that's some insane stuff, man.
I gotta look the word up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
That could be useful even especially in a home grow situation where you only have a 5-foot tent or something. Like, if you can tighten up that internodal spacing, save yourself 6 inches, that could be the difference between light burn and not light burn.
I
That
feel
could
like
be
you
a
could
tight
have some
canopy.
drawbacks though if you're
Mhm.
tightening up that internodal spacing and you get to a point where you got a bushy nug and it
It's
starts
just
clumping,
mold.
then you've got mold.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be a median in which to.
You wouldn't want to do this on a plant that has too bushy of nugs. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Well, I'm
that
wondering
Jack
if
H.
that internodal spacing is something that you need to pay attention to as well for light to penetrate the entire canopy of the plant.
Right.
I mean,
I feel like it'd be really good on just like to try out on sativas alone
Yeah.
because they always want to stretch really
Yeah.
far. So you can go ahead and bring all your sativas down a little bit.
Keep your canopy instead of it being stretched up, have a good one here, and whatever, you keep that kind of shorter and keep a more solid canopy
Yeah.
of A's and B's. That we've actually started doing that with a lot of up pruning, trying to keep like an 18-inch to 2-foot canopy thickness.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Just real quick, I do see a couple of new people I haven't seen or we didn't say hello to earlier. We got Daniel L. What is up going on in there? I think Jeremy, what is up? SMB still shots. We got Ashley Martin. I'm not sure if we said hello to you earlier. Hey guys, how's it all going? Thank you all for participating.
Sean looked
popped
like out there
in.
as well.
Sean, what's up, Sean?
Yes. Hello, all.
Yeah.
What's up?
Next.
Last one.
Final question. Number 4. In cannabis plants, what is the function of chloroplasts and how does their density within the leaves affect the plant's overall health and productivity? A. Chloroplasts store water for the plant. Increased density enhances drought tolerance. B. They're responsible for nutrient absorption. Higher density increases nutrient uptake efficiency. C. They conduct photosynthesis, converting light into energy. A higher density of chloroplasts lead to better energy production and healthier, more vigorous growth. Or D. They generate secondary metabolites like flavonoids. Their density impacts the plant's pigmentation.
I just water them and they grow. Mr. Burns says, amen, brother. I'm going to go C on this one. Because chloroplasts and chlorophyll have the same.
Go on with the chlorophyll.
What's it called again?
Chloroplasts and I guess.
Hey, come here. 2 seconds. No.
I feel like we should have known this from high school biology because the
I'm gonna go with
chloroplast
D.
was
I
a
had
sort of
C
the
picked
the
up. I didn't
membrane.
take it, but I think it's D.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking D too, but
That could be. I can see.
Oh,
how
look at
D would be
you.
correct.
Okay.
All right. Jeremy's thinking
All
D.
right.
Calvin's thinking D. Oh, you've convinced the audience. Shoot.
Shoot.
They're totally
Look at that.
decrying us now.
I'm officially
Still
changing
just
my
guessing.
answer.
Now that Hannah has changed her answer and she is wrong, it is C.
Don't second guess yourself,
Thank you guys.
Always go with your gut.
Those were awesome questions, Tanaki. Those were vicious
Those
questions.
were
Holy
good.
smokes.
I tried to have 2 hard ones, 2 kind of easy ones.
Yeah, that's
Where
great.
were the easy ones?
The
Here.
chloroplasts and the one that you had like a freaking meltdown about.
That was the easy one. That was the easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is what part of the plant is responsible for photosynthesis?
That's not the one. I guess,
That was
right?
the one. No, that was the one.
No, that was the one that I missed all the facts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Thank you
10
guys
second
in the chat
dominant.
for participating tonight. That was a wonderful round of Are You Smarter Than Stoner?
Damn you, Tanaki.
Oh, snap. We have not done it yet. All right. Well,
We'll go through Nature's Palliative's video real quick, and then we'll be right back with Andrea and Rob.
Out in Hamilton where mountains rise, nature's palliative, reaching for the skies. Green so lush, it's the valley's prize. Oh, walking in the clouds, no compromise. Rolling through the town with a smile so wide. Every step a celebration, every day alright. Nature's palliative, turning the tide. Healing vibrations, no need to hide.
All right, so we are back at the 406 Budcast, man. Make sure you're hitting that like, follow, and share. Tag your friends out there. Let them know what's going on. We always are looking forward to having more folks joining us for some amazing stoner trivia and to share awesome news, just like the news with Nate that we've got coming up here, man. I'm sure you've got some excellent information to share with the listeners tonight.
Oh yeah, there's lots going on out there in the business world, science and health, and so we'll definitely get that covered. A lot of it plays into our guests over here, Nature's Palliative. I know that you guys got involved initially in the medical days and was pretty heavy and influential, gathering signatures, doing a bunch out there to keep marijuana here in Montana. Give us a little bit of overview of what you and Andrea were able to accomplish out there and what you're able to do as far as keeping cannabis here and your medical journey a little bit.
Well, there was a lot. There really was. We drove back and forth to Helena, trucking people up there, talking to Mr. Milburn and all that type of jazz. Andrea really put together a lot of people in the Bitterroot when we were doing the signature drive. She was really my driving force, getting out there, making sure people were getting signatures. And she reminded me that we actually collected the most in the state for that drive.
Yeah.
Which I didn't remember. To me, it was just get it done and move forward to the next task. Before that, again, they were just messing with our laws. They were saying this and doing that type of stuff.
Right.
And I didn't see it as fair since it was a voters initiative that had passed by the highest ever in the state of Montana at the time. And in fact, I'm probably sure it's still the highest ever to today. I haven't heard of one higher. I haven't been paid that close of attention, but either way, and that's where I kind of ran into like you and we were talking about this earlier with Dan Two Feathers House.
Yep.
And we were all kind of just like, well, what if we had more regulation? What if we had inspectors? And I remember a lot of that type of stuff was being talked about. And so we were drafting up this deal and we're like, who's going to present this type of deal? And I honestly don't remember. I think you presented it or somebody presented it. I know it wasn't me because I was like, I'm gonna punch one of these fools in the face. They just they yap too much at Helena and they screaming at people, and it's like you can't do it. You have to be polite. So I remember it was a horrible session. I remember there was a lot of raids around the state of Montana,
right? And
nobody was standing up. It was they were fighting over their gun rights and fighting over body rights and all the stuff that people need to pay attention to. But when we're over here going, hey, our rights are being invaded too because this is our body,
Well, that and the voter rights aspect of it,
absolutely. Yeah. And that was the more bigger aspect, I would say, of it, because we had judges, Judge Sperry, we had other judges and stuff like that sign it, and we've had people sign it and say, I'm going to vote against this. And I says, that's what I want you to do. You do what you want to do.
Right.
What happened was this was a voters initiative, and a group of people took that with that and changed it to a Senate bill, and they didn't have the right to do that without bringing that back to the people. And so that was our job. That's what we tasked ourselves with. And that's what you brought to me. And I joined up with going, okay, this is what we got to do. And that's what the MTCIA was formed. And we're just fighting the good fight. We went forward on that. It started kind of some politics, met with Kate Hullava. And, you introduced me to some really great people, quite honestly. Quite honestly, if any of them are watching, they were really great people. And I think everybody that was involved truly wanted something to be done. We all wanted something to be done. So fast forward, And we went out of town, and we had a little incident happen at the house, and so we kind of had to set things back for a little bit. And then kids grew up, and we decided that it would be a good time to kind of get back into something. I was sitting around the house really pretty much not doing much, and she's like, let me pick your brain about this, let me pick your brain about that. Next thing I know, we're back in it, and we had the name still, and we're same location as far as the grow is concerned. And we've had some of those officers that are now retired, and they apologized. They said it wasn't right, what they had done and so forth. And we get along with everybody. In fact, we have a couple retired police officers come and buy from us.
Nice.
So I'm like, show me the badge. Show me the badge. Come on, you got, I know you still got it. Show me the
Give
badge.
it to everybody.
Yeah, I just want to see. Like, I want to get a picture with me and you and your badge. You know what I mean? Because I'm selling weed to a cop, right? Like, but legally. So,
Absolutely, yes.
yeah, it's
Totally
gonna
above
Yeah.
board.
It's
times have changed.
do you find that
fun.
the attitude shift that has happened, we went from a really hard dogfight almost every legislative session to them trying to repeal it any way that they could, to now they're starting to actually get some sort of bills that give us a bit of an industry that we were fighting for back then. But do you guys still see that there's a lot of problems within the bills that they've created still?
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen anything that any legislation's put out where I've been 100% on the entire bill. There's always some sort of thing in there that's like, what, really? You're going to put that to like this, or you're going to try to minimize this to this, but we can go do this now, so we can use this word, but we can't use this word or that word, so yeah. I haven't honestly looked at anything that's come down the pipe this year as far as in the last few months.
Yeah.
I've been kind of hyper focused since spinal surgery on just core health, body health, and keeping the grow going. So I honestly, I would lie to you if I said, oh, well, what's going down doesn't please me, or it does.
Sure.
I really don't. I just know what they passed in the more recent past, and some of the stuff I just was like, it's more paperwork, it's more money, and it's not necessary. This industry is bringing in, I feel, a good amount for the state. So
A great amount for the state, and look at how many jobs it's created.
Yeah.
Throughout, every county in Montana that allows cannabis. I know that there's been a pretty big increase in their tax revenue as well.
I totally agree.
you remember when they shut down testing? It's like Rose Habib was starting to do testing back in
Yeah.
the day, and then the state was like, no testing. You're not allowed to test anything, this and that. I'm actually rather thankful that we have that we can prove to people that what we're selling you is clean, good product.
Right.
And that's the thing that I think the industry is having a problem with all the taxation that's happening, is that it's bringing our revenue to a point. It's like, well, we have to sell it at a certain line just to even keep the doors open. But the guy down the street, he just grew an outdoor plant and he's selling it for half the price. Right. And so you hear that, I can go down to Joe Schmo's place and get it for half the price. And so it'd be kind of nice if they would figure out an easier way to keep it off the black market.
Yeah, I think that boils down to me. It seems like if you look at Colorado, you look at Oregon, you look at quite a few of those places, when they start to get in, that's actually going to be a part of our news that we got coming up, what they're doing over in California. Holy smokes. That is, they're going full ham over there all of a sudden. But we'll get into that here very soon. But you look at those states and you look at the amount of regulation and everything else like that. It didn't stop the black market. And in fact, New York, they're having a horrible problem with black market operators. I mean, they bust one bodega and 15 more pop up selling illegal cannabis. So I think you're hitting it right on the head. We need to figure out a balance between that. And hopefully the legislative session, we can get a little more favorability now that we've been able to show that, one, we're operating like any other legitimate business, two, the descheduling or rescheduling argument is happening. So I think there's a lot playing in our favor, but the economic downturn, you guys are feeling it over in Hamilton. We're feeling it here in Billings. I think everybody in every industry is feeling that.
Yeah, I think so, especially with any sort of recreational stuff, marijuana, alcohol, tobacco. I'm sure all the sales are showing because people got to buy food. Yeah. At the end of the day, you got to pay your bills, you got to buy food. Well, you're not going to want to buy pot if you ain't got money to buy food.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean? And so We've seen it. We've had, we recently moved onto Highway 93. Funny enough, it's 1090.
1075.
1075 South First,
Street.
yeah, South First Street, and just down the street there's a 1075 Highway 93. And so if somebody Googles it, it sends them like 4 miles south of us to this guy's house. We recently had some people going, I was at the wrong place.
It's like, why are these people keep showing up asking for weed? Like, I got my own stash, bro. Like, get your own.
It's like,
Luckily, that wasn't a black market either, right?
Right? Yeah.
Customers have been like, "Oh yeah, I got this at the shop," and then be like, "No, that's not a shop. That's just some dude's house."
No, it is 1075 South First Street, Hamilton, right next door to the steel paintbrush.
Yeah, there you go. Nice plug.
Yes,
There you
Yeah,
go.
buddy.
best place.
There you go. Beautiful.
Well, guess we better get into some news. I mean, we're rolling up close to an hour, I think,
Yeah,
already.
Yeah.
So, better get to the news.
Cannabis updates fresh and real. Tune in with Nate, it's the big deal. Cannabis news with Nate, let's go. Every story makes you glow. Stay informed, don't be late. Cannabis news with Nate.
All right, we're back with the news. So, real quickly, in Science and Health, medical marijuana reduces chronic pain and mental health symptoms. Researchers in Australia, in a study published in the Journal of Pain and Palliative Care, pharmacotherapy, found that medical marijuana can significantly reduce chronic pain and improve mental health symptoms while also reducing the need for prescription medications. The study observed 96 patients over a year, offering fresh insights to how cannabis could serve as an alternative treatment for chronic health issues. I think that's something that we knew about here in Montana for quite a while. I mean, obviously, you guys, that's right in your name, Nature's Palliative. And that came from the medical days when you were first in cannabis through medical patients. So it's cool that the science is finally catching up with us hippies.
It's kind of funny that you guys say that, because from my perspective, you guys really pushed cannabis as a medical thing, and then now in the last year and a half, this whole focus has changed a lot to recreational, and people have forgotten that it is a medicine
Yes.
for a lot of people.
Right.
People have medical cards. You have to talk to a doctor. I mean, it's medicine, people. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I think that's going back to the day we had a lot of discussions about, whether or not I actually was really, really hesitant about pushing it towards a medical position, just because I felt that at some point doctors and pharmacies could step up and say, well, if you want it to be medical, we're the only ones who could deal with it. And so it really took it out of that, sort of homegrown medicine kind of level or holistic approach. And so, I mean, I know I've beaten this drum a few times, but I personally believe that we need to classify it as a supplement. It is a supplement. Our body naturally produces cannabinoids, naturally produces these things. And so just like taking iron, taking zinc, or anything else like that your body produces, I mean, you're supplementing it and adding to it. And so I think we look at it from that level. We get both the medical aspect, recreational aspect. People definitely use all kinds of supplements for lifting weights that they don't necessarily need to take every day, but
Flintstone vitamins now with THC. Fuck yeah, dude. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
You're my chewables, baby.
Right.
We have a lot of people who come buy gummies to take daily for their evening time or whatever. So I mean, you're not that far off.
No, not at all.
So, cannabis treatment for chronic nerve pain. A review conducted by researchers in wherever this place is. I don't know, and I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to mess it up. But medical college in Mariartis basically demonstrated that cannabis treatments effectively reduce chronic nerve pain with minimal to no side effects.
What?
So, I mean, these are something that we've experienced quite a bit, and it's just backing up a lot of what we tried to tell people. Obviously, they're saying no anecdotal statements and stuff like that through the CCD lately. You can't say that it has any medical property or medical value, but these are actual research studies from colleges and from universities and from scientists who are out there in these fields. and these are the results that they're putting out. So
Oh, and
Yeah.
by the
What do
way,
you mean
folks, all
talking
things
about?
that we are talking about are for educational purposes only.
Yep.
Yeah, just to get that disclaimer out there.
Good reminder.
Literally that one story itself, my dad literally, I mean, he was on tons and tons of painkillers, massive, enough to take down a pretty good sized elephant. Like, and he started using cannabis, and it reduced the milligrams and amount of painkillers that he had to take just to get out of bed. And it was far better than all of them combined. He said it would just loosen up those nerves in his lower back, and he could just stand up and move around and have more mobility. And
Anything that gets people up and moving is good.
Well, in the way that it was explained to me quite a long time ago was the fact that when you have your opioid receptors, they actually don't go very far into your body. So they can take opioids in and they can deliver them, but it doesn't go very far at all. Your endocannabinoidal system goes throughout every portion of your body, even down to your fingertips. And what happens is the cannabinoids will actually grab onto the opioids and pull them through the cannabinoid receptors and actually dispersing them a lot better throughout the body. So it creates sort of that entourage effect with your opioid medicines as well. So it can help boost and shoot that up. That was explained to me by a doctor who was doing some clinics and stuff like that. We asked him to give us a pretty good explanation of it. He was very brilliant as far as the science goes of it. And
so with opioids, it's like, it's cool, but with weed, it'll actually reach out, like, oh, hold up, let me get that right there. And yeah,
you
go ahead and pass this around to the rest of the body. Here you go.
It's like, the opioids, you can only take the M bus line,
right?
But if you add weed to it, you can take the entire bus route,
right?
So
not only that, but the weed's not going to make you as moody,
right?
as pills do,
right?
And I know when you were working at the hospital and doing surgeries and stuff like that, people who were using cannabis, it seemed to be a little easier for them to come off the anesthesia. Is that what you guys observed?
that, and they actually got less sick.
Absolutely.
So, less
I
chances
can
of getting
testify
nausea.
to
People
that.
who smoke marijuana, but the problem is that it would also affect with their anesthesia,
Make it
and
less
so-
effective,
and
right?
make it less effective, and so therefore they'd have to give you more drugs to keep you under. And so the anesthesiologist, if you're going to have a surgery or procedure, let the doctor know you're doing
I
that,
did.
because it will affect the care you're given.
I did.
It's just like, hey, by the way, I just took a big, huge thing of meth before I came here. That's important too, because there are people who literally will shoot up right before they come to surgery and whack out before they even get into the operating room.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's some crazy people.
I did
It's
tell the anesthesiologist before I went in to have my appendectomy. I was like, look, I'm probably gonna wake up. She was like, why? I was like, I smoke like a lot of fucking weed, like a lot. And they're like, okay. And then when it was done and I finally woke up in the recovery room, they were like, yeah, you kind of woke up in the middle of the surgery and tried to like lean forward, so we had to put you back down. I was like, I fucking told you.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never been in surgery before in the history of my life, but I did hear that weed can make you wake up, and I smoke quite a bit more than the average Joe. So, and
When they put the stents in my heart, I had the same issue. They actually have a big monitor that they're like looking at you, and they're inside your heart. They're operating on shit and everything else like that.
And you're
I
awake.
woke up, I looked at the lady, and I fucking lifted my head up, smacked the deal, and fucking doctor's like, fucking do not do that. Like, and so I look at the lady, and she's just like panicking, and I'm like, can you scratch my nose? It's itchy. And they're like, what the fuck? Hit me with more ketamine, hit me with all kinds of shit. Finally, they come to my wife, and they're like, what kind of fucking drugs does this guy do? And she was like, marijuana. 3 times I smacked that damn monitor. So yeah, I'm fortunate to be here. But I'll tell you, what industry do you guys think smokes the most cannabis?
what industry?
Yep.
The cannabis industry?
Well, you would think so, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I like your answer. The restaurant industry.
Right. So there was a study that was conducted by the CDC as far as which workers were the most cannabis users. And what they found is food preparation, creative sectors, and construction are amongst the most likely to use cannabis. These findings could be significant for the industry leaders and policymakers to consider when they're dealing with workplace policy decisions. I mean, obviously, these people use a lot of cannabis. If you say no cannabis use, probably not going to wind up with very many workers. So
I've worked 2 out of those 3 industries.
Yes. Before,
But no, the weed
before
industry
cannabis
isn't the
business,
biggest
it was
user.
the
I've worked out-
construction business.
I think I've worked all 3 of them, and yeah, I've smoked weed at all 3 of them. Creative, restaurants, especially like I remember like in high school and stuff like that, working at like Pizza Hut or something. That stress and that high pace environment. Oh yeah, you go outside and smoke on your break.
So real quickly in business. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think just about every like fast food restaurant, any of that job I've worked, you immediately could find at least like 4 or 5 people to go smoke with on breaks and stuff. Just be like, hey, I know you smoke.
Do you smoke? Smoke what?
Like in the black
Car
market, in the black market, I'm pretty sure like that is the drug dealer's thing. Like if you start selling weed in a state that doesn't have legal weed, you go get a job at Applebee's or Chili's or fucking TGI Fridays, because that's how you sell your weed. You don't even have to really work, because first of all, you're the plug, so your manager's probably not going to fire you because you're getting free weed, and then
Andrea
you're just
looks
selling
like she
weed
knows
to
exactly what you're
everybody,
talking about
so-
over here.
I mean, it's a legitimate system. It's nationwide.
Yeah, it's a great system. Well, you know, talking about legitimate systems and stuff, business and finance when it comes to cannabis, banks could generate $2 billion from the cannabis industry by 2035 in interest payments alone.
So is that really generating?
Well, you know, I mean, they're offering a service, so I mean, I don't know if it's generating or not. If it's skimming, I mean,
I mean, they're
personally,
generating it for themselves. So, you know, it's
the
being
cannabis
created.
industry is generating it. They're the ones skimming off the top. You know, anybody who tried to open up a cannabis bank account can tell you. I mean, they want fees up the wazoo.
Yeah, I can tell you this about the cannabis baking. It is cheaper for me to use my credit card and pay my interest than it is.
That's so crazy.
pay
That's
monthly fee and a monthly fee.
Yes.
I feel like we just keep saying landscape company wrong.
Well, you know, landscape company and everything else like that. But, you know, I mean, we had a vape and glass for an insurance quote, and they were just like, oh, well, wait a minute. We all of a sudden did some research and found out that you're connected to cannabis too. So your $100, you know, a month policy just went to $500 a month policy. And so I think that's some of the things that the policymakers should be also looking at too, is these price gouging our industry. There's no reason whatsoever when we have a state legal industry and we have so many states around that has legalized this, that any business should be coming up and price gouging us for any kind of service.
Thank you. Do not forget about the amount that they skim off the top on top of your fees.
Yeah.
The percentage.
Well,
Not
just
only are you paying your fees, but every single dollar that you put into that account, whether it's tax money that belongs to the state or your money, they are skimming a percentage off.
yeah, and every fee that you send, rather than an ACH fee like normal, you know, you're probably looking at a higher ACH fee. There's and the one thing I will say out there is, if you're in the cannabis business and you're looking for banks, do your research. I mean, we've had to go through a lot. There's plenty of them out there that they're going to charge you, you know, fees just to deposit your own money. Like we had one that if you don't deposit at least $20,000 in cash, you have to pay a $150 deposit fee. We had another bank that they wanted to charge a certain percentage of any cash that you were depositing, but you couldn't deposit it yourself. You had to get a hold of a courier service like Grizzly Security or somebody else. They had to come pick up your money from your dispensary, take it to the bank that, you know, and so
and you pay for the
and you pay for every bit of that,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
an
down the
additional
road.
fee
So,
on top.
I mean,
Many
$500-600 here,
times.
$500-600 there,
Yeah.
$500-600 there, and it's just like, you know, there's no small business in any industry anywhere, I think, that has to deal with what cannabis businesses have to deal
You
with.
know, my mama used to say something to me when we were younger, and she says, "Son, don't piss me off to where I beat you like a redheaded stepchild." And I feel that the cannabis industry is that redheaded stepchild of business
Yeah.
at this moment, and we're just getting the punches. Like it's Saturday morning and we didn't do our chores or something.
Right. Yeah, you know, I mean, when you're looking at 23% tax, and yes, the consumer is paying the 23% tax, but what they don't realize is that 23% could have went into additional purchases through your store, And a lot of people have had to reduce their prices by the 23% to make it up so that they're able to keep in a competitive price. And that's the one, things that I don't think that the CCD or the legislature is really looking at right now. And I think that's one of the things we're going to have to do as an industry moving forward, is in an effort to try to get some tax relief, not only for us, but for the citizens of Montana. I mean, there's no reason that a citizen of this state should be paying 23% tax on an item that they want to purchase.
Harry. I agree.
So
I'll sign that shit.
Getting into the news of California, holy shit, these guys over here, they went full tilt boogie with it. So a state commission report from California recommends a cap on THC levels in cannabis products and suggests the state, check this out, explore a government-ran cannabis monopoly like they do in Quebec. So basically, now here's the better part. In order, they want them to promote, they want them to go out there and spend a bunch of money to convince everybody to allow them to have this state monopoly so that they can open up their state monopoly stores in counties who elected not to have cannabis. So all those red counties and cities, the state's going to come open a cannabis facility there.
Whether you like it or not.
And it's going to be state ran, state operated, state owned.
You keep dropping one particular word there, monopoly. And I'm pretty sure there is a law in place that says you cannot have a monopoly.
Well, this was their own state agency that recommended that they figure out, and that's exactly their wording, a state or government ran monopoly of the cannabis industry. And so, I mean, that goes back to the regulation portion. If you regulate every other business out and then you take over, boy, that's a pretty good antitrust move in and of itself, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I mean, it seems like that's kind of what they're doing anyway. What was it back in the day? John Boehner used to always say, no to weed. Weed's the devil. Weed's evil. Weed's terrible.
Now John Boehner.
And he did have that thing with his wife where weed really helped his wife. But at the same time, conveniently, at the exact same time he starts voting for weed, he is bought into the largest cannabis corporation in the Western United States, and then the skyrocketing stock value of it went through the roof.
I mean,
net worth tripled. And
I just learned that there's a Nancy Pelosi ETF where traders just track all of Nancy Pelosi's trades, and it's up 50% this year. So,
well, they need to be tracking Paul Pelosi because that dude has never lost on a trade, apparently.
Oh my goodness. Dude.
So, real quickly, as we're getting into the alphabet soup crap, legal and regulatory, the DEA, they postponed the rescheduling hearing to 2025.
Wow.
So administrative judge said, listen, we need to dial it back a little bit. Let's go to 2025 and wait on this. I think every state in the nation is going to have some sort of legal cannabis law before the federal government gets their shit together.
That's probably their goal, right?
I would have to imagine. And that we had the discussion quite a bit, back when Rob and I were getting the MTCIA and everything together originally. We had a lot of discussions with a lot of legislators, and in Montana, we were asking the delegates in DC, why don't you push for legalization when we have legalization here in Montana? And at that time, I think there was maybe 10 states that had some sort of medical or recreational laws on the books. And they basically said, look, if we legalized it at the federal government right now, you would have 52 lawsuits, from every single state because you did this, you did that, they didn't like this, they didn't like that. And so it would spend all of its time in court, and you'd spend all your time fighting every single regulation because this one didn't want taxation, this one didn't want testing, this one didn't want that. And instead, if they just sort of keep their attack dogs, which is the DEA, back and allow the states to develop their own infrastructure first, and then all of the states get everything put into place, then they can say, yep, you guys legalized it, it's legal, and then there's no lawsuit to the federal government.
Right.
And all of that infrastructure is already put into place, and they don't have to spend any money doing it.
Right.
it's crazy because speaking federal to state, in DC, you can buy weed.
Yeah.
You can buy mushrooms over the counter in DC, which explains a fucking lot, but
well, and you can drink 24/7 in DC. So I mean,
but like just off the street, right across from Presidential Ave, right there, you know, or Pennsylvania Ave, you've got dispensary, and the federal government's missing out on having one hell of a gift shop right there, you know.
Yeah.
And they could put the grow out there in the rose garden and just grow it, and it's part of the tour. And then you go to the gift shop and you buy some extra taxed weed over there.
I'm
But
sure George Washington would agree.
but that's the federal difference. You know he would. They grew it there at Martha's
Absolutely.
Vineyard. you
I mean,
know,
Abe
but-
Lincoln talked about smoking, you know, his hemp out of his pipe, sweet hemp out of his pipe, you know, and I mean,
yeah, that sweet hemp.
he was
Ugh.
enjoying the intoxicating effects of it too, you know, so they were
Jack
definitely
Rare.
smoking some
Yeah,
good stuff.
exactly.
So real quickly, the buzzkill is coming to the marijuana industry though. OSHA, yeah, that shithead
Fuck.
organization. They have all of a sudden started working with Colorado. Colorado said, hey, do you think you guys can help get us a safety program for our employees and everything else like that that's going on? And so OSHA was like, yeah, you know what? We'll go ahead and just do that for everybody.
Well, here comes ladder training
That's
for anything
exactly
off
right.
the 3
So,
steps.
if you didn't think we had enough regulations to deal with, here comes the alphabet soup from the federal government to give us just a little more training.
So we can get regulated by them, but we can't get legalization from them.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of-
Taxation-
it's kinda like we can
taxation
pay
without
for,
representation.
You know, we can pay our taxes to them, but we can't write off any of our business expenses like a normal business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do we got here? If you're going to say that it's illegal, then are you complicit in laundering money?
Ooh,
For collecting
Touche.
taxes on it.
touche.
The IRS
I
is
mean,
long.
is the IRS
And when OSHA walks to build a plan for it, you are now an accessory to operating a cannabis business, an illegal cannabis business, and you're a federal agent.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it on a lot of levels, like, I mean, you come from a construction background and you have contractors and subcontractors. You really can't dictate what your subcontractors do on a day-to-day basis. You can say, hey, I want you to come in and I want you to do this aspect of the job, but you can't say, you know, you need to be this hour. I want you doing this. There has to be some of that distance. We don't have that from the CCD. There is no distance. They come in, they tell us, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to make sure your testing's done this way. You need to make sure you're working these hours of operation. You need to make sure that this package is finished at this time, blah, 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 blah. So really they have that almost employee level that we tried to separate from the contractor, subcontractor level. And that's one of the things I see is that they're really into that position where they're trying to run our business without actually being the person running our business.
Yeah.
As if they were trying to set up a monopoly.
Severe
Well, you know, and I'm-
micromanaging.
I'd
What
be
better
curious
way to
see
make
how
it
many
seem
more
like it wasn't a
states are going to
monopoly.
try to do this and say, no, actually, we, the state, can run it a hell of a lot better because they don't listen to their citizens on the fact that you have black market shit going on and people promoting black market who are supposedly industry advocates. And, you know, we have simple situations where we have to compete with the state itself on being able to get out a proper product. So, I mean, where do we get that balance?
Fuck the government.
Look,
You know, I always kind of figured that once we hit over 25 states, as far as legalization for the federal government, I kind of looked at it like that, especially when we start breaking past the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
I kind of figured it's like, it's got to be time that, you know, when you reach 30, 35 states, you're in the majority.
right.
As the, you know, the United States has been, we do a majority vote type of thing. That's how we ran everything around. And so that's how I always looked at it. And then every time a new state puts a new medical law out, and that one state that's had a medical law puts legalization out, I start looking around. I'm like, it's just about every state's got some
Yeah.
sort of marijuana law now. You know, not every state's got legalization. What the heck are we waiting for? It's like, let's just, you know, regulate it, tax it, move on now. I mean, they're already doing it to us as it is. So just open it up. We can get interstate commerce going on.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
international commerce.
You know, we can start doing stuff like that and maybe get some actual growth going.
Wow.
I remember-
European weed, German weed, freaking Afghani. Imagine
Mm.
smoking
Shoot.
Afghani import.
Send some Montana weed
I
over
don't
to
think
Germany.
it's gonna be quite all
Let
that.
them boys know what we got going on.
You know,
Yeah.
you know, I
prepared
agree
for
with
power.
that.
I think that's the thing.
You know, I think Montana has, I mean, a couple of things done wrap there, but I think Montana actually has a low key reputation that most people don't know about. I would put Montana up against the entire world not just the United States, as far as what we're growing, how we're growing. I think there are great growers throughout Montana, and they can grow a product on par, if not better than a lot of people out there. And we hear that from people visiting from other states. They come from Washington, they come from Oregon. They're like, holy smokes, this tastes phenomenal. This is great. This is, this is some good quality shit. And I think that's going to be beautiful to see us be able to take that out to the world and see how far that goes.
Yeah. In 2011, I had a stoned conversation at Seattle Hemp Fest with Ed Rosenthal. Took some pictures, showed him my Cincy Star, and I went to hand it to him, and he just kind of brushed it off. He was signing my book, and so I dropped the nug in this tuna can, right, and it hit the bottom. Is like tink, and so he turned and looked, and he goes, "What's that?" I said, "Cincy Star." And he goes, "That's the Cincy Star." And he breaks open. He goes, "Did you grow this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "Montana." "You grew this in Montana?" I said, "Yes, I did." And he looked at me. I says, "Look, I kind of figured like this. What was the elevation this stuff started out with? The cushes and so forth.
Yeah.
Right around 4,000 feet.
Right.
Where do we sit at in Montana? Pretty close to that in most locations, if not above that. So elevational speaking, CO2 to oxygen level speaking, the plants just tend to want to grow better here. I think certain strains, ones that haven't been manipulated by genetic alterations and meant to grow off the coast or shorter times for colder areas and stuff like that. And he handed me his card. He's like, "I want you to come down to Oaksterdam and take a look at what we're doing down there." And I wound up going to the what was that in LA, the Drug Council Alliance meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to your comment though about the plurality of states that have legalized it, we hear a lot throughout the election season and everything else like that about protecting democracy and how important democracy is. Well, you would figure with a plurality of states with legalization, democracy should be kicked in by now, and the federal government should have this legalized.
Well, democracy is going to get there once they've all insider traded, just like John Boehner did, and lined
Paul
up what
Pelosi hasn't taught him,
gets
hasn't taught him
states
how to
cannabis.
invest in it quite yet.
Hell no, because she's trying to buy them all up.
So I remember some bills coming down throughout the year, hearing things on the federal level, catching it on MJ News and stuff like that. Is there anything that's been walked back? Are they still
the Safe Banking Act is still working its way through. It's in the Senate right now. It has bipartisan support, including from Montana Senator Steve Daines, Republican. So, he's actually one of the co-sponsors of that bill. And, I think overall we'll see that go through. And I'm going to say that that's going to actually be the push that really gets us across the finish line with federal government when it comes to legalizations. You get that banking lobby behind cannabis and them and their desire to come in and, like I just said, make those billions of dollars until 2035, $61 billion just off interest. Damn well they're going to convince quite a few representatives and senators to get it done. So with those coming, I think we're going to see legalization.
Yeah, they want that dollar to hollow.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Well,
we've gotten one hell of a show tonight. I mean, we went about
an hour and a half
almost with Rob and Andrea. And I think it's probably time to. Oh, we got to say real quick, Kaylee, how's it going? Thanks for joining us.
We've got some folks smoking Donnie Burger, Grape Biscotti, ethanol from over at Mari Mint.
Tiffany's smoking up on some super lemon
wax
haze.
Banana.
Infused.
Very nice.
Yeah, those twax bananas. Have you guys had those?
I wasn't a fan personally of the twax. I think I had one. I think I had a blueberry, and it wasn't for me. I mean, I know a few people that really enjoyed them, but personally for me, the blueberry one had a really artificial kind of flavor to it that didn't set well with the strain. So it wasn't
Strange.
Yeah. I mean, it came with a scratch and sniff little sticker on the tube. And when I smelled it, I was like, okay, blueberry, whatever. And then when I smoked it, it tasted like the scratch and sniff sticker, which was not really how I wanted my smoke to taste. But maybe that was just how I received that profile. But yeah,
trapped inside the nose.
Yeah, it could have been.
I've had the blueberry. It wasn't my most favorite.
Right.
In fact, I got about halfway through. It's like, yeah, I'm done with this. The banana one's fun. It's got Nestle Quick kind of banana, strawberry banana kind of. You guys are in the valley, sometimes I was as a kid.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives me this nostalgic flavor as a child. But, yeah, I could see that. I'm not too big into the more flavored ones. but the infused joints is where it's at. I
Right.
like that. That's good.
Got some snow cap out there from Donovan.
Yep, Donovan.
Donovan, thanks for joining us.
Donnie Sunset. from
Donnie
Jeremy.
Sunset as above.
Great Biscotti.
Dude, some great strains.
Great
out there,
strains for sure.
Hey, well, folks, we really appreciate you joining us. We appreciate Andrea and Rob for joining us. Thank you so much for driving all the way over from Hamilton. If you guys are down there, check them out. Nature's Palliative out there on Highway 93.
What's
Get
your
yourself
address
some good
again?
smoke.
1075 South First Street, Hamilton, Montana. Right
Awesome.
next door to the
Hit
steel
it.
paintbrush.
Steel paintbrush, folks. Stay lifted out there. We appreciate it, each
Take
and
it
every one of
easy.
you.
Have a great night,
See you later,
everybody.
guys.